and welcome back to the Mini Weekend. I'm your host, Jack. Today's for a minute. Well, during the podcast, what do we go with tonight? As you can see, yes, we do stuff for our drinks here that aren't Northern Soda Co., even though they are delicious. But I went to the store with my kid, and he legitimately helped me pick out like 95% of the stuff we got. So we are finishing off 4 sodas that Lift Bridge Brewing Company actually have, and it's actually, they have like their own like subsidy under their brewing company of Lift Bridge sodas. So tonight before I get into everything, tonight we're doing their ginger ale, and I want to say it was, what was it? Springtime, maybe early summer 2024. I want to say I found out about these sodas, and we found I have their website up. We found their root beer, no problem, their black cherry soda, and their mini donut cream soda. And I remember I have it up here. Yeah, it was between 2 months, February to March, essentially. We tried all 3 of them. And I was trying to find this one, and I could not for the life of me. I used the Finder, and everywhere I went, it was sold out. So this was probably one of the 2 or 3 sodas that I got that I've actually picked out, and the kiddo didn't. Really wanted to get a taste of it, and it's not bad. It tastes. For me, I grew up, and this probably isn't fair to them. This isn't bad tasting, but for me, growing up on Canadian Dry, I love that. It's not to knock anybody else, but ginger ales, it's kind of hard to come by, and hard to beat. But for those that are curious, so Lift Bridge Brewing Company is located, for my east suburbs listeners and fans, over in Stillwater, near, I don't know, probably a mile, maybe a mile and a half away from the St. border area, right off of, what is that? Tower Drive West, and probably just, a block off of 36th and Washington Avenue, essentially. But I was there a couple years ago. It's a cool spot, especially in the spring and the summertime, because they have some outdoor seating and all that kind of fun stuff. And there's just more to do if you're able to be outside as well. Inside is pretty spacious, but being by the river, you want to be there when it's nice out. So go check them out. And yeah, so sorry, I was going to do the description. So it says ginger ale, refreshing as a Midwestern waterfall, crafted with natural ginger flavor and real sugar and carefully selected spices and botanicals. And maybe that's what it is. I do like the ginger flavor. The ginger flavor is very very apparent, bold. I like it. But I think it's some of those spices that I'm kind of tasting falling back into my throat that I'm kind of like, not crazy about. But I'm glad I read that, refreshing. That is one of, that couldn't have described this soda better. It is very refreshing. It's something I feel like I would enjoy more on a spring day, summer day, sipping on. All of them, by the way, come in these cool 16-ounce cans instead of 12-ounces. But yeah, like I said, I think I just perfectly summed it up. It's refreshing. If you like drinking something that's ginger flavor, you're going to love this. But for me, I think it's those spices kind of on the downfall aftertaste that is making me not love it. Why don't we do? I'll go 6.5. 6.5. It's not. 6.5. It's not the. Spices are really, really, really making it hard for me to put it any higher, but I really do like the ginger flavoring of it and the boldness of the ginger flavor, like right as it's hitting your tongue. And and the more I think on it and the more I taste it after it, those spices there, it's really turning me off of this. I would not say don't get it. Me personally, it's not my favorite. Again, if you've had their black cherry soda, which even though we've had this on the podcast, I got myself 2 of those because it's amazing. But their black cherry soda and their root beer are just so hard to beat. So, yeah, that's what we got. 6.5. Go check them out. Their website is liftbridgesoda.com. to go to their soda specific page. You can find out, retailer inquiries, where you can find them, about it, recipes. But if you go to their actual website of liftbridgebrewery.com, you can find a lot more. They have a tap room start in Stillwater, and then one just across the river in New Richmond on Madison Avenue. Have never been to that one, so if you have, let me know if it's worth visiting, and we might have to go check her out. But yeah, liftbridgebrewery.com, and you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and TikTok. So yeah, ginger ale, wrapping up the 4 sodas from Liftbridge, 6.5. That's what we got for you tonight. As far as Tommy Town is concerned, before we get into some of it, there are 2 streaks, this last week that unfortunately were broken. So first things first, men's hockey team are coming off of a series split this last weekend at home against the Michigan Tech Huskies, winning game 1 on Friday and then losing Saturday's game 3-4. They were tied 3. What was that? About 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes into the period, before Michigan Tech would score not long after that and hold that for the rest of the way, ending the men's winning streak, the longest win streak, the nation's longest win streak, which I believe was at 15, which was insane. So tough to see that go, but hey, if you are in sports, records are meant to be broken. So it broke. And honestly, again, with what they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left before the postseason, you never want to go into the postseason on a 20-game heater, because the chances of you going into postseason play on a 20-game heater, the target's going to be on your back, and that's just not what you want. So yeah, that's what we have for the men's team. They had quite a bit. Bear with me. We're going to let you guys know all of the amazing honors, but there were a lot of, this team is rolling. So what was it? It was on February 3rd, Lucas Wallen and Lucas Van Vliet picked up CCHA monthly honors. Wallen was the forward of the month for January, and Van Vliet was the rookie of the month. They won 8 of 9 games in January with outstanding individual performances up and down the lineup. It's the first time in program history that a Tommy has received Rookie of the Month and Forward of the Month. Lucas Wallen led the Tommies with a +11 rating and 3 first goals. He added at least 1 point in all 9 games this month and totaled 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 total points. And then Van Vliet led the Tommies with 15 points and at least 1 in all 9 games this month as well. He scored 4 goals and added 11 assists with 2 power play goals and 1 game winner. And he's become the first Tommy freshman to record a 30-point season and is near the top of the conference. He is 4th in points among the nation's freshmen this season, only behind Ethan Wittenbach of Quinnipiac and Porter Martin of Michigan State and Gavin McKenna of Penn State. So huge congratulations to both of them on their accomplishments. So that's what we have for the men's team. They will be in action, like I mentioned. They got 6 games left. They will be in Bowling Green taking on the Falcons tomorrow, Friday, February 6th at 6:07 p.m. and then Saturday, February 7th. So congratulations to them on their achievements, and can't wait to see them back in action as they look to lock down that number 1 spot going into the CCHA tournament. As for the women's team, they picked up a very impressive series sweep of the St. Cloud State Huskies, who are receiving votes currently this last weekend, putting them at a 12-16 overall record, 7-15-5 in the conference. 5-8 at home, which is awesome. So Friday night saw the Tommies take a 1-0 lead in the first period before allowing 2 straight goals from the Huskies, but then would scored a goal in the third period to tie it up at 3, and then would take the lead from a Riley Bart's power play goal in overtime for the game 1 win. Then in Saturday's game, the Tommies would score the first 3 goals of the game and just wouldn't look back. They got goals from Maddie Brown on the power play, Riley Bartz, and then Chloe Boreen. So huge for them as they look to wind down the season. They will be home-to-home series with the U of M Gopher team. Tomorrow, Friday, they'll be at home in St. Paul, and then they will go at noon. And then Saturday at 2, they will be in Minneapolis for a game. And then they go to Minnesota Duluth, who's number 6. Then they end the season at home against Minnesota State before they have their WCHA playoffs. So that's what we got for the women's team. And then for the men's basketball team, it breaks my heart. This last on the 29th, Nolan Minnesale's 16th, 20-point game of the season was not enough, as the longest active home winning streak in NCAA Division I came to an end as North Dakota overtook St. Thomas 81-80 at the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. It is their first home loss since 2023-2024. It sucks, but hey, they're meant to be broken, and this team is rolling. So yeah, it sucks that happened, but let's become. I mean, they're still sitting at a 19-6 overall record, 8-2 in the conference, and as much as that loss, I'm sure, did suck, they've won the last 2. They beat Kansas City at home 99-64 in the Kansas City Roos' biggest loss in program history, and then took care of business against South Dakota State 77-62 just a couple days ago. And then they're winding down here too. They got essentially until both the men and women's teams until the end of February before March Madness and tournaments will get underway. The men's team will be in action Saturday at home, 7 p.m. against Oral Roberts. And then the night of the next podcast, they'll be in Omaha to take on Omaha of Nebraska at 7 p.m. as well. And then for the women's team, currently on a 2-game losing streak, 10-13 overall, 3-6 in the conference. Lost their only 2 games just the 1 game this last week. But not only are they on a 2-game losing streak, but they've lost 4 of their last 5. So looking to kind of get back on track here. They got a couple games coming up here. They'll be in Denver on Saturday for a 3 p.m. game against the Pioneers, and then they'll be home on Wednesday the 11th to take on Oral Robert Golden Eagles. So, hopefully they can turn it back around. They're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left. Hoping to finish. They have an opportunity still to be above 500 or 500 team. So we'll have to wait and see what they can do. They're sitting at 7-8 at home. And then 3-4 away, and then 0-1 at neutral sites. That's what they're looking at. And then there is no new news on the football team, but I did look into it, and we do know the teams St. Thomas will play this next season. We just don't know times and specific dates. For the conference play, we will be taking on our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, our 8 games, 8 Pioneer Football League games that will be played. These are them. So the 4, we will be playing the San Diego Toreros, Stetson Hatters, Davidson Wildcats, and Drake Bulldogs at home. We will travel to South Carolina to take on Presbyterian Blue Hose. We will be traveling to Poughkeepsie to take on the Morris Red Foxes, traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana to take on the Butler Bulldogs, and then traveling to Valparaiso, Indiana to take on the Valparaiso Beacons. And then we have 3 non-conference games. 2 of them will be at home, as we will take on Northern Michigan Wildcats and Southern Utah Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds just rolled over us, I think it was 2 years ago in 2024 in non-conference play, so hopefully we can get them back there. And then our one and lone away non-conference game will be at North Dakota Fighting Hawks. So again, those are just the games that will be played this upcoming season. We don't know the dates of them. We don't know the times, but we do know, just like the Vikings team, we do know who we're gonna play, who's coming here, and where we're going. So thought I'd drop that for you guys. And then, just like we always do, repping our UNRL Unreal apparel. Got some sick stuff in the mail. Earlier today or yesterday, I swear my memory is gone to shit, and that's completely on me. But yeah, their Miracle capsule is unbelievable and was so much more popular than they thought. So everything, I saw their website, or I saw them post, everything just like the NFL drops was so sold out in a matter of 10, maybe 15 minutes. So much so that I actually made a post that said, all of these things will be made to order, but we're going to give people an opportunity to get a piece of history and reorder them, for a second kind of opening to get them. For some of this stuff, both hats already sold out, which is insane, and some sizes for a second time around are of the hoodies are out. Like the storm blue that I have, you can't get a large XL, 2XL, or 3XL. The same thing for the storm blue, but for the two coconut ones, the ultra thinner ones, you can virtually get whatever you want there. And that all of these look so sweet. Obviously, this one we got the Midnight Navy, just the 1980. You got the cool patch on the side that's got the USA Miracle hockey team. Got some cool American stars on there. The UNRL up here. I can't remember, is there anything up here? No, there's not anything up here. But just overall, amazing feel. You guys know how I feel about the how I feel about the Elevation hoodies. They're some of my favorite hoodies, not just for Unreal, just in general. And then obviously love the hat too. It says Miracle on the front. It's that the same midnight navy color. You can bet your ass I'm going to be wearing this golfing this summer. But yeah, once again, top of the line, and really looking forward to being able to dress this up and dress this down, wear this hat to literally anything. Play dates for my kid, hockey with my kid, golfing, hanging out, going to watch the Super Bowl. Really can't say enough great things about this. And then we also got a coconut ultra hooded long sleeve. Those are some of my favorite too. Like I don't know if I could pick between the Elevation and the ultra hooded long sleeves. It would be pretty dang close. But we got the one that says Miracle Hockey on the front, and I was wearing around that one earlier today, and gosh, I could live in that thing just like I could live in this one. But super sweet. And just when you think you don't know what they're gonna do next, I mean, this company really is like, I love that it's based out of Minnesota, but this is a national company now. I mean, go look on their socials. They just did an in-arena drop just for the Boston Celtics. They're about to do another in-arena drop just for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go get that stuff, but the fact that they're doing stuff specifically just for other teams is just amazing, and goes to show just how reputable and just how amazing this company is. They obviously have top of the line, top tier athleisure materials and apparel, top of the line in anything. I mean, they got stuff for kids. My kid got some stuff. My wife got some stuff. Honestly, anything you can think of that you need just to wear, t-shirts, long sleeves, shorts, workout stuff. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. UNRL.com. You can look in their lookbooks of collaborations. Sometimes they have sneak peeks of stuff that's about to come up. They have last call items. But most importantly, make sure you check out my link in my YouTube description. If you use that link, you will get 15% off your first order and start accruing points on each order. I can't remember exactly how the points work, but you get so many points based off of how much money you spend each order, and you can use those points for as little as $15 off, but as much as $50 off of future orders. So if you use my link once again, not only do you get 15% off, but you also get points starting to accrue right away that you can use on future orders. And make sure you tell them that the mini weekend sent you as well. Like I said, unrl.com. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Go check them out. And then just a couple things from everything else before we wrap up here. The Olympics are officially underway. It's February 5th, so curling and some skiing stuff got underway yesterday, 4th, and the 5th, or actually earlier today, the women's hockey team had their first game. They played in the preliminary round in Group A. They beat Czech team, and they got goals. But yeah, the women's team, a huge 5-1 win over Czech. They got 1 power play goal to Czech's 0 power play goals. They got goals from Dunn, Sakamura, Knight, and Carpenter. And Sakamura, that math was mathing. Sakamura scored twice in that one. And where's statistics and who put up the okay, here we go. Okay, so it was Hillary Knight, Alex Carpenter, Joy Dunn, and Haley Sakamura that all got the goals for us, and it was Ava McNaughton who picked up the W in their first win. So a huge congratulations to them. Can't wait to see what they do going forward. Their next game they'll be looking at playing on Saturday. Yep, Saturday, 9:40 a.m. I'm guessing, and they will be playing against Finland. And then again on Monday the 9th, they got Switzerland at 13:40. What's that? 1:40. And then they got Canada at 1:10 on the 10th to wrap up the preliminary rounds. And then we unfortunately have to wait until the for men's hockey to get underway, the 12th specifically, until the U.S. team has their first game. And part of that is because if you look right now, even though it's 11 o'clock at night, there are still games being finished in the NHL right now. The Wild are done, but there's still games being finished up. Guys, got to get their stuff together, get over there, all that fun stuff. So can't wait to see them in action. It should be a really fun time. I'm super stoked. I haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch any of the Olympics quite yet, but you can bet your ass tomorrow, February 6th, I will be watching at least part of the opening ceremony. So can't wait, and hope you guys tune in too, and let me know what you guys think I should check out this year that might not be super popular. Alright, so for that, like I said, not a ton as far as the Wild are concerned. So a lot of people don't realize this, but I think we talked about this a little bit last time. The trade deadline, it's about a month or so away, but they're doing this year something called a roster freeze. So it's essentially you can't call people up, you can't cut people, you can't trade people during the Olympics, which it makes sense. You'd hate to get traded in the middle of playing for your country or just having an extended time off. So it'll be a fun break to have from the NHL, but also being able to see a hockey getting played on an international stage will be super, super, super fun. And yeah, the Wild have been playing really good. They're sitting at 78 points, second place in the division, 1 point lead on Dallas, and a 14-point lead on Utah, who is number 4, and only 5 games behind Colorado for the number 1 spot. So 5 points behind Colorado. So they played 58 games. We played 3 more games than the Avalanche have, which is unfortunate. So what's that, with 24 more games left to be played? No. 26, because they're doing 84 this year. 26 games left to be played. The number 1 seed in not only the Central Division, but the Western Conference is very much in play. And unless something crazy happens, the number 1 seed in the Central will more than likely be the number 1 seed, essentially, of the Western Conference, as the Golden Knights are number 1 in the Pacific, and they got 68 points. Jesus. Sorry about that. We're going to edit that out. So yeah, I currently like how this team is constructed, but we recently on TikTok posed a question to you guys saying, do you think the Wild need to make a trade to be a serious cup contender? And if so, what do you need? And it seems like it's kind of split 50-50. Half of you half the people out there think, nope, like, this team can play with anybody. They are just as good, just as talented as anybody else if they get the goals and if they get good goaltending. And then the other half are not only saying, yes, we should trade for somebody, but yes, we should trade for somebody and we should get a center. And I don't disagree, but with how Eriksson Ek, Daniil Yurov, and some of our centermen right now have been playing, I don't hate it. And if I'm being completely honest, I trust, again, I've said it a million times, I trust Bill Guerin. But at the end of the day, I think if Bill Guerin can get a solid centerman that can win some faceoffs and can be another big body out there, for a cheap price, go for it. I mean, I don't want to see us trade Wallstead. I don't really want to see Daniil Yurov go because I think he's going to develop into a star and a stud. But yeah, I think it's a fun time right now. And yeah, I think it'll be nice to kind of let some of these guys reset. You got guys like Kirill Kaprizov and some guys on their roster that aren't going to be playing. So they'll get some much needed time off to, even if they're playing at 85 or 70%, get fully healthy and get back, get ready to go. Because the other thing about the Wild, they'll get back and they'll have 3 games. They'll have 3 games in 4 nights when they get back. Which will be a tall task. But if you're well rested after an extended break, why not? Yeah, that's what we got for the Wild. For the Timberwolves, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but we did not get Giannis. I think we might get him this upcoming offseason. But we offloaded Mike Conley's contract, which it's crazy. We essentially traded him. We gave Chicago some guys. We gave Chicago Mike Conley, Detroit somebody, and they each swapped something, and we just got money, like $10 million in cap space or whatever. And then Mike Conley got traded to the Hornets, so there's actually a rumor that he might come back and sign a vet minimum with the Wolves, which would be insane, in my opinion. Excuse me. Yes, truly insane, but would be pretty fun and cool, I guess. To see if that happens, but more than anything, Timberwolves really beefed up their backcourt by getting Ayo Dosunmu in a 4-player trade with the Chicago Bulls. So we got him and Julian Phillips. Well, we sent to the Bucks Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and 4 second-round draft picks. Yikes! I think Dosunmu will be an integral part in our backcourt, and I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, looking at, I think all we really needed to do was get another point guard for Chris Bridge to fucking play. But I really do think Dante, because right now you look at their depth chart and it's Dante at the 1, Ant at the 2, Jaden at the 3, Julius at the 4, Rudy at the 5. And then after that, your next 3 to 5 off the bench are Bones Highland, Ayo, Jalen Clark, Naz Reid. And then, maybe either Jon Beringer or Terrence Shannon Jr. That's 12 guys right there that, if healthy, could be a very, very interesting lineup. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, even with Connolly on the team, I really think if they're playing their brand of basketball and not being lazy and getting after it and getting buckets and taking smart shots, our record isn't unbelievable, 32-20, but we're still 3rd in the Western Conference. I think we're just as good as anybody else and can beat just about anyone in the league. I think what it's going to come down to for the Wolves is getting a top seed. If we can find a way to get the 1 spot or even the 2 or 3 spot, I think we put ourselves in a really good position to, by virtue of who you get to play in that instance, of getting back to the Western Conference Finals and having a legitimate chance at the Thunder again, barring any injuries from them, or us, I guess. But it should be an interesting rest of the way. They got 30 games left. They're coming up on All-Star break here in a little bit. Excuse me. Yeah. I think another thing to think at and look at too is the Wolves probably just have to tighten and get just a little bit better. on their offensive opponents' points per game. They're doing a great job. They're number 4 right now. Only the Oklahoma City Thunder, Nuggets, and Heat are averaging more points per game. But we just got to tighten up the defense a little bit and just be less lazy in crunch time and not commit bad turnovers. And this team, I mean, I really think they can. I'm not saying that it will happen, but they have just as good a chance to win the whole thing as anybody else does. So that's what I got for the Wolves. They will be in action a couple times this upcoming week. Excuse me. They got New Orleans at home 7 p.m. tomorrow, Friday. It's Sunday. They'll be at home for a while. At Sunday, they'll host the Clippers, the Nula Clippers, at 2. Monday the 9th, they got Atlanta coming to town at 7. And then their final game before All-Star break, they got the Portland Trailblazers coming to town February 11th at 7 p.m. So again, 1-1 in their last 2 games, but have won 5 of their last 6. And they could very well string 4 games in a row here heading into the break. Then even once they get back, Dallas, Philadelphia, Portland, LA, I mean, again, that's 8 games right there that you could really rattle off 8 games and really take a stranglehold and put yourselves in a position to be in the driver's seat in the Western Conference final, or in the Western Conference standing. So, yeah. And then for the grand finale, this Sunday, we get at 5:30 to watch the number 1 seed in the NFC, Seattle Seahawks, take on the number 2 seed, the New England Patriots, in the AFC in the Super Bowl. And guys, I could not be more conflicted in this game. And I've had family and friends both already asking me, Jack, who do you want to win? Who do you think is going to win? And the easy answer is neither of these teams, if I'm being completely honest. I don't want the Pats to win because, one, fuck Boston. Boston fans are literally the worst. They're just as bad as LA fans or New York fans or Philly fans. They're just obnoxious and no, fuck Boston. But at the same time, I hate having to listen to the narrative for the next 6 months, a year of Sam Darnold goes to Minnesota, can't get it done, and Minnesota lets him walk, and he goes to win a Super Bowl, which I hate. So yeah, that's what I got on that. Before we jump into dissecting the Super Bowl, wanted to look at my picks. So we've done pretty well these last couple of years, and this year we did something different. We told you guys who we thought was going to win each game, and then I gave you our bet for the game. And coming into the Super Bowl, there have been 12 games played, and for who we think is going to win, we're 9 of 12. And for picks of the game, we're also 9 of 12. Looking to go 10 for 13 of both, which I really do believe we are going to happen. So, without further ado, here are our picks for the Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California. First and foremost, the line in this one is set at 45.5, and my cousin said it best, I think, last year. Life is too short to be rooting for the under in the Super Bowl, so give me the over. The first thing that jumps out to me in this one is I know the Seahawks have only played 2 games instead of 3 games like the Patriots have, but in their 2 games, they have scored a total of 72 points, averaging 36 points a game. So just by themselves, they might hit this over. New England, on the other hand, has kind of struggled to put up points. They put up 16 in the wild card round and then 10 in the conference championship. I understand weather was kind of crappy, but even against the Texans, they only put up 26 points. So, and this kind of goes into my dissection and kind of what I think is going to happen in the Super Bowl. Both of these teams bolster very, very, very good defenses. Very good defenses, but I worry and struggle a little bit about this New England offense. It can be very good and it can be very explosive. But if they get stagnant, it could be a long game for New England. So, against my better judgment, because if I'm being completely honest with you guys, my heart tells me New England's going to win this game because I can deal with Boston fans. I don't want to deal with this narrative of Sam Darnold. But my heart and the betting man in me says the Seattle Seahawks will win Super Bowl 60. And in large part, I just think their offense is superior to New England's offense. I think Drake May is awesome. He's going to be a stud going forward. But at the end of the day, he's young. I think on the biggest stage, he's going to do just fine. He's just not going to be able to do enough or as much as Kenneth Walker, Smith-Njigba, Sam Darnold, and some of these guys. Sure, Sam Darnold doesn't have, a lot of playoff success, but he's been in the league longer and is more of that veteran than Drake May is. Like I said, against my better judgment, that's what I got. I got the Seattle Seahawks winning Super Bowl 60, and the bet I like in this game is the over 45.5 points. But also, before we let you guys go, I do have another underdog bet for you guys to jump on as well. Quick reminder, I am not a financial advisor, so do with these picks what you will. I am not liable for any losses, just like I will not come after you for any of your winnings. So let's just jump right into it. The picks I like, so I obviously went ahead and did what I thought in this game. I picked the Seattle Seahawks to win and the Patriots, or the 45.5 to go over. And once again, this is a $5 entry to win $90.05. To go with that, we have 4 anytime touchdowns. We got Stephon Diggs and Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots, and then Jackson Smith-Njigba and Kenneth Walker on the Seattle Seahawks. I could very well, honestly, I think this New England team could get a little bit stagnant, but I could see this very well being like a 24 to like 34 kind of game. I think it's going to be high scoring, to neither faults of their defenses, but I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I see the Seattle Seahawks coming out victorious and opening up the 2026 season, raising that banner. So that's what we got for you guys. As always, remember this podcast about you guys, the listeners. If you have a question or topic you want me to address or answer, please reach out. We are on X, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Email us, DM us, anything. Reach out. And as always, until next time, Minnie.